I don't want to alarm all West Ham fans on here, and you all know by now that Issa Diop is possibly out for the season with an ACL injury, but we now only have really one first-team centre-back left, which is obviously Craig Dawson. And as I say those words to you, it all plays out in my head how he's the only one we've got left now. Yeah. Does it kind of make you glad that we actually did try and sign somebody in January? You know, we actually should have got Coletta Carr in now. I wish we'd have bloody got him now. You know what I'm saying? Because this was going to be inevitable. It was going to be inevitable that Ogbonna would get injured. It was going to be inevitable that Zoom would get hurt. And, you know, in the papers for kicking his cat. I mean, the kicking the cat thing is probably a bit different. That's probably not why he was ever going to get, you know, mentioned in the news. And no one ever... What I'm trying to say is nobody ever predicted that he'd end up kicking his cat and treating it like it was a football and he was going to field goal it through the upright. No, not like that. You know, but we just kind of knew Kurt Zoom would get injured, and he hasn't even had a bad injury record until he joined West Ham. That's the thing. He didn't even have a bad record until he joined West Ham, and since he's been at West Ham, he's been injured twice. So, brilliant. We're cursed. And then Issa Diop got injured, which came at a bad time because he was actually playing quite well until he got hurt. So now West Ham's in a bit of a defensive crisis. And we're not only in a defensive crisis, we're in a whole team crisis, if you think about it. Moyes is going to have to completely change up his system, possibly. Not saying change up the formation, but change up who plays where. And there are going to be possible solutions as to how we can solve this defensive issue. I'm going to run through a few that I've come up with and talk to you about which is the most plausible. First one, play three at the back. Now, three at the back is a very risky move, and I don't think it works for us. When we have three at the back, we tend to be exploited a lot more. Given that we have Arsenal and Chelsea to play, and these are two big games in our season, we could get cut open. We could get slaughtered more than a cow in an abattoir. That would be us. And I don't want that to happen. So a three at the back, just thinking about it right now, I'm not saying it's not plausible, but it's not really wise. And I wouldn't have Dawson on his own anyway, because Dawson's too slow. Okay, he's good from set pieces and he's good at doing long passes, but he's too slow, I think. And he needs an extra body to support him. So that brings me on to theory 2. Theory 2 is the one that some people are trying to back. Declan Rice starts at a centre-back, and an additional midfield player fills in for Rice. That could work. Declan Rice has played centre-back before, but how would that hinder the midfield? Well, there wouldn't be that box-to-box energy that Rice shows. There wouldn't be those dispossessing abilities, necessarily. And it would mean that Rice's movement might be restricted slightly. I would see Alex Král or Mark Noble filling in that space. Most likely Král, though, because he is a defensive midfielder. It could benefit Král because he might actually get game time if Rice were to go into defence. I say might because there's a possibility he still doesn't even get a shout, and he hasn't had that shout all season. The third possible option is we put a fullback in that spot, namely Ben Johnson or Vladimir Sofal. I think this one's actually very doable, and I could see it very much happening. Johnson has already played as a fullback on both sides of the field. He is defensive by nature. I think he could fill in temporarily as a centre-back. Vladimir Sofal as a right centre-back, maybe so. That's quite doable, like I say. I think Sofal hasn't been doing well in his own right-back position this season. I think Johnson's now taken that over for the time being. So why not try him in a different position? Moyes likes to mix and match his positions. He's known for converting wingers into strikers. He could probably convert a right-back into a centre-back. And that's not really a big conversion. It's still playing along that same defensive line, but just in a bit more centralised of a position. Ben Johnson, like I say, could play there without any major concern. Option number 4 is the risky one, but one that might be beneficial to a player. We get Agialisi to play as centre-back. By doing so, this would mean that he would make his Premier League debut against a team that is chasing the top 4. Pros and cons are always going to follow something like this. The pros is that Alisi is a highly respected and well-appreciated member of the under-23 team. He's a leader on the pitch and a very solid defender who's known for having good heading ability, technical skill, and closing down the players. He's 21 years old, so he's not like a little baby anymore in football in terms. He's 21. He's had a good 3 or 4 years to mature. And he's hungry to go and get a chance. Moyes seems to go back on his word where he talks about the academy, and this is where the con comes in. I feel that some academy players would benefit us more than the regular first team. And as a result, we should consider playing some of these players in the less pressure games. Alisi would be getting thrown into the deep end, but at the same time, Ben Johnson was thrown into the deep end against Manchester City for his Premier League debut, and he pocketed Sergio Aguero in a narrow 1-0 loss. So Alisi could follow that line and toe that line and potentially do the same thing. You never know unless you try these players out, so that's another thing to consider. As I've been speaking this video, I've been trying to consider all the options in my head. And this is not easy. Not only because we shot ourselves in the foot by having a lack of depth and not signing players in January, but something like this was bound to happen. We got Ogbonna, who's out and is set to come back before the end of the season. I didn't mention him in this because I don't think it's going to be wise to rush him back. Zuma has been hurt twice. And now Diop's out for the rest of the season. Oh. What do we do? I want to say that Alisi should start, but knowing that David Moyes is going to be sticking to his laurels and go with his regular first team players, I want to say that a fullback's going to fill in at centre back. I can see that happening. I really can. And it wouldn't be too difficult to do, because right backs defend as well as centre backs. Sofal has been known for his defending as a right back, so he could play in that position, I think, as a centre back. Ben Johnson is centre back. If he comes in centre back, Sofal goes as right back. So, or even Fredericks could go in there, but I wouldn't really trust Fredericks in these 2 games. It's difficult, but I think we can make it work with a fullback. We got to look for an internal solution as well. No, at least he could come in. Don't see it happening though. Johnson or Sofal get the shout for me. It was very difficult making this video and even coming to his final decision, but this is the kind of difficulty David Moyes is going to face as well, and hopefully makes the right choices come at the weekend. Thank you very much for watching this quick video of Anvil's thoughts. If you like the video, hit this like button. Don't forget to sub for more content. Comment below. All your comments are greatly appreciated and they are very much welcome. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you all soon.